Good day. The garlic on the right, the Thermodrome and Messidor, they are really looking quite strong. And next to us here, these two rows here are Primor, which are looking a little bit weaker. I think I might have a label in the wrong place. I think that label might be there, because this one looks more like these, looks different to these. Anyway, those are coming up. If we look across here, these are our Vivi broad beans. We've got 9 plants left in total. 2 of them are pretty weak, like we've got 2 like this here, and then 7 like that, which are not too bad. Really struggling with broad beans this winter. Never had an issue with them before, but certainly something has been at them this year. And where we've planted others from one of our fellow plot holders, from seeds that they gave us, which I think was about a week after these, I think we planted about another 20, and we've got 3 plants remaining. Let's have a look at the ones in the poly. Well, I can already see these have grown. Yeah, they're looking pretty healthy. You can see there's a little bit of mushroom growth in there as well. Yeah, happy with those. And you know what? I'm going to have to leave the lid off now because they're too high, because they're touching the lid, this lid. So yeah, the lid is staying off. Those I think will be going out in 2 to 3 weeks. It was interesting to come down here on this Monday segment because we've been in Guernsey to see Mum, so I haven't been down here since Wednesday morning, and the broad beans are looking fine, though from 30 seeds we have, let's say, 7 decent plants, and that's nothing to do with Vivi seeds. I am sure it's down to the mild weather that we've been having, maybe the fact that I didn't get an additional strim in on the grass last year, so our grass is longer and it may be harbouring more slugs and snails. However, what I also know is that longer grass is also the home for quite a few frogs, because all I need to do is walk down the path and I see the grass move, and that's not the snails or slugs, that's frogs. So hopefully they're eating the slugs and the snails, but yeah, those are still struggling. Then when we were given other seeds from a fellow plot holder just next door to us here, of the 23 that I sowed, we've got 3 plants, none in one bed and 3 in another bed. So really struggling. So I'm really pleased that I did sow those other broad bean seeds, which I have no idea what variety they are, because again, they were found in this shed. They were in a jar in the shed when I came in one morning, and I'm not sure even now who gave them to us. No one has said, oh, did you get the broad beans I put in your shed? But clearly someone did. and those are doing well. So as I say, they'll go out in a few weeks time, not months time. Hopefully they'll be flowering in a few months time. And I'm sort of wondering, do I put them in the bed where Vivi's are, or do I put them in another bed? I think it's sensible to keep them all together. So I think they'll be going into that bed. Yeah, I think that's sensible. And in fact, I might even move the 3 that we've got in a bed into that bed as well, so that they're all together. I know it will be a mishmash of different types, different varieties, but does that really matter? And then I was just looking at the thornless blackberry that we've got in the soft fruit bed. And I've just used a rubber cable tie to just pull that towards the post. It's got quite a few laterals coming off it, and I haven't decided yet whether we're going to train those across. I think when I was coming in today, I looked at where the grow house was, the wooden grow house we moved a few weeks ago, and I'm really happy with it there. However, what I did notice today is that the screw that holds in the little latch that keeps the door shut, covers up the top so that the doors can't open, that has the screw has come out of that, so it's somewhere in the grass. So another day I'm going to have a look for that. At the moment I've just put a chair against it so that those doors don't open. Not that there's anything in there at the moment, it's just I don't want the doors blowing about in the wind. I think they may have done that a little bit in the winds whilst we were away in Guernsey. And, you know, that not knowing where those raw bean seeds have come from or who they have come from is, I mean, you know, I'd love to know so that I can thank them. I'm sure they've watched this, so they've had thanks, but I'd love to thank them personally. And also, look. I don't know how many kilos of potatoes are in that bag, but thank you to our plot holder Jeremy here and his wife. They grow really great potatoes every year, and I got a message from him to say that he put a bag of potatoes into my shed. And, you know, isn't that lovely? I mean, that is what community is about. And of course, allotment sites. I was interrupted then by a fellow plot holder who wanted to ask if Richard and I were okay because they hadn't seen us for a few days. So we explained we'd been in Guernsey. That's why they hadn't seen us. But yeah, you know, that's the lovely thing about allotment communities. They are also, of course, a microcosm of society outside. So sometimes you have people who ruffle feathers, sometimes you have people who are calming waters. But I have to say, generally on this allotment site, we're really lucky. There's a lot of goodwill and there's a lot of well-being being shared throughout all the plots here. And in fact, when I was coming in, I was talking to one of the fellow plot holder, the one that used to have this plot I'm sat on now, this half plot. And he's off to Kew tomorrow because he does some work at Kew. He drives the train at Kew. So, you know, he's retired and he goes and does that. And he gets paid for that. But, you know, it's nice chatting to people and knowing that people are out there giving their bit and doing their bit as well, whether it be volunteer wise or paid wise. Yeah, so now I'm going to go home. I'm so pleased with those potatoes. I mean, you know, that's absolutely great. And I'm thinking about doing a seed swap with a few people here. So we're talking about whether we do a seed swap event. Maybe that will be in the spring, maybe it will be in the autumn, but we're talking about that at the moment. And we are now ordering the bulk delivery of compost. Orders need to come in to me by the end of this week, and then paid for by sort of Monday, Tuesday of next week, and then we'll be doing an order for that to come. But we're already at 7 full pallets of compost, soil improver, soil conditioner or mulch. So, you know, that's great. And that big pile of wood chips that you saw in last Monday's segment, that's all gone, obviously. And then they are going to be delivering 2 other loads to us in a few weeks' time. Need to organise a skip as well, so that people can put rubbish into a skip so that that can go. And we've got a working party this coming Saturday as well. So it's quite a busy week for me, but it's not overwhelmingly busy in the way that January was before I decided to step back from social farms and gardens, which I now have done. I'm still offering up to 4 or 5 hours a week to help out where I can, but not in terms of being a trustee or on the board, just as a person to help administratively, maybe doing submissions for funding or checking over things or making sure that certain emails are answered that other people might not be able to answer. So yeah, I'm still offering up my time, 4 to 5 hours a week for the next couple of months, and that's fine for me, because actually that's something I can be asked to do and do, rather than me being in the trustee role, which was really, I think, dragging me down. Well, it was dragging me down. I don't think it was. It was. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this segment. I think I've been going on quite a while. I'm sorry about that. And I will see you very soon. Whether it'll be tomorrow or not, I don't know, because I've got quite a lot of work that I need to do at my desk. So I may have a desk day tomorrow. But depending how that work goes and what the afternoon is like, I may be down here then. And if I am, I'll drag you along with me. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. I've just come down to do some harvesting of the Portuguese cabbage leaf on the left and take this huge butternut squash home, because I'm going to make some butternut squash and chickpea and kale curry this evening. And it really is quite grey. In fact, there's a few spots of rain that I can feel. That was a van going into Richard's work. Quite a bit of tidying to do, which will be tomorrow or the next day. Oh, and look, I need to cover up the Portuguese cabbage over there. So I need to do that because I don't want the pigeons to get onto that, because I want to eat it ourselves, as with those Brussels sprouts over there. Though, to be fair, they're only nibbling away at the Brussels sprout tops. Let me just go and show you. They're not eating the Brussels sprouts themselves. So I don't mind that too much. So look, we've got all these Brussels sprouts here, but they're just nibbling at the tops. I was going to save seed from this one, but I'm not sure I am now, because I've checked and I've got loads of Groninger Brussels sprout seed already. So maybe I'll leave that to another year and take that ribbon off. I love the way that these blow sometimes. Look at that. That's rather gorgeous, don't you think? Yeah. Oh. Lots of tidying to do. I've been saying that for ages, but you know what? I'm not whipping myself up about it because I've got time to do it. Oh, how had I not spotted that? Let's go back over to the butternut squash. I just noticed, can you see in the background? Jax's, no, it's not Jax's trough, it's the other trough. Daffodils. Oh, look at those. Lots to come. Oh, what a joyous sight though. Oh, I do love daffodils. Look at that. And then in here, we've got the iris and tulips coming up. And then in here, I'm noticing some new growth on the freesias. Oh, I'm just happy about that. Yeah. Anyway, I've done what I came down here to do, and I found a jubilant sight of daffodils. That'll do for me today. See you soon. Bye. Good day. I'm going to sort out this bed today. Verbascum in here. I'm going to take it out. Chard, which has really come to nothing. Going to take that out. We've got some Claytonia in here, some winter purslane, which I'll tidy up and leave in for the time being, because we might get some harvests from that. Right at the end, we've got the snow in summer ground creeping plant, which is lovely in June, May or June. There's a bit of geranium here, which I'm going to leave in. Lots of couch grass down here, which I'm going to pull out. But yeah, I'm going to tidy up this bed. Basically just weeding. I'm going to get on with it, and then you can have a look at it after. Half an hour or so later, and the job is done. Or a good enough job for the time being. This is the Claytonia, the winter purslane. I've left that in. And because this was so full of detritus and chard and weeds, you won't notice, but this is the snow in summer right in the corner here. There's a geranium in the corner here that you can't see. But the snow in summer had come right up to here, so I've taken it right back. You'll remember we did similar last year. I think I've taken it back more this year than last year. We took it back last year and gave it to other people. This year I've taken it back and I've put it into our compost heap. And actually, some of the chard that was here I've transplanted. In fact, let me just show you the two other things I've done this morning. We have had robins popping about, not surprisingly, looking for worms and other grubs. But oh no, they're over there. I was going to say they've gone now, but they've moved to somewhere else. Let me show you what else I've done. I've tidied up this area. This is mainly a flower border, a pollinator border, let's say. There are 3 tree lilies in here that Sharon gave us a few years ago, but none of them have really come to anything. I'm hoping that they do this year. But I've given this a really good weed. There was some nettle seedlings coming up and various other weeds and some couch grass coming in from the edge here. I really need to sort out the edgings as soon as possible when it's dry. So I did this area, I cleared that. All that I took out from here has gone on to our dead hedge in case there were any insects in the detritus of the California poppy. Then on this bed, I've transplanted some of these chard from the bed over here, over this side, that we have cleared into this bed. So hopefully they'll transplant well. I was just looking to my left because the robins are back. But they seem to have gone off again. Anyway, we won't catch them today, I don't think. Just picking up on the bird theme where we ended there, talking about the robins, which I still haven't got on camera. The other day when I was walking on Warren Farm Nature Reserve, which is like 5 minutes walk away from here, I met up with the lovely Katie, who's very, very much involved in Warren Farm Nature Reserve, a really key person. There's quite a few, but she is really, really key. And a friend of hers was walking with her, and we spotted the first skylark of the year, or certainly the first I had seen and they had seen of the year. It is it's great to see that, because we know that now that is going to be protected again for at least another 8 months as the skylarks come in and they nest on the ground. And it's quite amazing when they're in full flight, in sort of like full spring and early summer, when they're in full flight. The chatter that they make is quite incredible. Anyway, Katie did manage to get some footage, not particularly great because skylarks move really, really quickly, but I'm going to put it as the tail out on this video because she's given me permission to do that. So thanks very much for that, Katie. And it was lovely to see that skylark and hear it as well. We did notice, or I did notice in Guernsey, that I could hear some skylarks, but I couldn't actually see them. I think they nest on the cliffs or the cliff edging in Guernsey. But anyway, look, I'm glad to have got that job done. I know I say it all the time. You know, when I get a job done, I say I'm glad to get a job done. But it is that sort of, you know, that feeling of joy when you have done something. And it didn't take me long. You know, the one thing that I know I need to get on top of here is the couch grass, because I really let it grow last year. And much of our grass on our plot is actually couch grass. So if it's not kept in trim, it really will spread. So I think the other job I'm going to do either this week or next week, depending on time, because we do have a work party for 3 hours or so on Saturday here, is the flower border bed. I need to get on my hands and knees for that flower border bed and get in there, because I can see that there's some pulmonaria already coming up and already flowering. And yes, there may be insects harbouring in the stems or the dried stems of plants that grew last year. But just like I've done this morning, I will just pop those onto our dead hedge, and any harbouring insects in those stems can make their way out from our dead hedge. So I'm not going to put any of that in the compost, because if you put it in the compost bin, then the insects might not be able to get out. And I want to have as many pollinators on this plot as possible. So pop any detritus like that onto a dead hedge or into an area of your garden that you can just leave, and that will give those insects a chance to wake up and fly away, or start pollinating and laying eggs and doing all of that. Yes, there may be some insects in there that are naughty insects rather than good insects, but you know what? You know, in life, you've got to take the good with the bad. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I think I've been waffling on long enough, and I will see you again soon. Whether it's very soon tomorrow, I'm not sure, but if not, then we'll pick up on Saturday or Sunday. See you soon. Bye. Good day. This is the boundary fence of our site, and yesterday, not sure if you can see here, we were putting in saplings. So these are saplings of hawthorn and dogwood and buckthorn and hornbeam, dog rose, various things which are going to soften the boundary of this green fence, which is really great. They've been given a water, and we've got some mulch coming, and they'll each have a really good mulch as well. Another job that we did, really big job. You see this here? this whole area, including behind the stables here, is a new dead hedge we put in. So we've put these big posts into the ground, put a pointy end here, bang them in with a post plunger, which is why they're sort of all battered at the top, and then have infilled between the boundary fence and the posts. A really great job done. And just up here you can just see there was a dead tree. We've taken that down as well. So a lot of really good work done. Really good work. Now we need to start tidying up this area because there's an awful lot of rubbish in the ground, but 2 people have said that they will do that this week, so that's great. Real teamwork yesterday. Real teamwork. Really good turnout. And a really decent dead hedge that will be fantastic as a habitat for wildlife over the coming years. And of course we can just carry on adding to it as it breaks down and feeding sticks in. Can I find a stick? Yeah, I mean, look, there's a stick, small stick. But what we can do is just feed these in. So that's really great. Such a brilliant job done yesterday. And we also worked on the ivy. Done quite a lot of work on ivy. Right, back to the plot. So it's Sunday morning and it's pretty windy, so I'm just going to sort out this bed, just tidy it up a bit. And what I am going to do is move these 3 broad beans, and I'm going to pop them into here with Vivi's broad beans. Yeah, just really to tidy up the bed and keep all the broad beans together. So I'm just going to get on with that. You know what weeding is like, so yeah, I won't show you that. It's just starting to spot with rain now. And in fact, we're due quite a lot of rain over the coming days. So what I've done is I've done what I said I was going to do. I've taken the broad beans out of that bed and I've put them into the Vivi broad bean bed. I will put the broad beans that we have in the polytunnel into the Vivi broad bean bed in a week or so's time, maybe a fortnight, maybe the end of February. I then took out the celery plants that are not producing for us anymore, and I want that bed for something else this growing season. So I've taken those out, though you could do what Vivi has done before, is you could let one go to seed and save the seed from it. So those have gone into the compost bin, and then I've just given it a general weed. There weren't too many weeds in there. And because we are due so much rain over the coming days, I've top dressed that bed and the bed I did earlier this week with chicken manure pellets, making sure that I'm standing, is it upwind of the wind? So I'm standing with the wind blowing away from me, so that when I scatter those chicken manure pellets, any dust from it blows away from me rather than towards me. Bit like scattering ashes. And now I am going to go home. I have been given by our lovely plot neighbours here 2 celeriac, so I think we're going to be having those over the coming days, as that braised celeriac that Richard did a couple of weeks ago, or earlier this week, was it? I can't remember. Richard tries to plan ahead with the cooking videos, so sometimes when I see a cooking video, I think, didn't we have that 2 weeks ago? But anyway, there we are. Right, I'm going to go home. I have been watching this morning the 2nd episode of Monty Don's Japanese Gardens. And I will say this, even if you're not a fan of Monty Don or you're not a fan of gardening programs, do watch Monty Don's Japanese Garden. It may be on YouTube. It's most probably on BritBox, something like that. It's certainly on what's it called? Oh, I can't remember what the BBC thing is called, but the BBC catch-up thing. It's on that. It was done a couple of years ago, but I found it incredibly relaxing. I watched the first episode a couple of weeks ago and the second episode this morning. There's only two. Takes you into spring in the first episode and autumn in the second episode. And it's just a lovely hour of watching. It really is. And very calming and very chilling. So if you do have a couple of spare hours over the coming weeks, I would suggest you watch Monty Don's Japanese Gardens, because I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, so I'm going to go home. There's a book that I want to start reading and taking notes on. So I'm going to be doing that today, whilst it's most probably raining. And I think this week, or this coming week rather, I think we might be doing some of our first seed sowings indoors, which I think is going to be the aubergine. Anyway, I'll see you again very soon if you're on Planet Vegetaria, and I'll see you again next week for another upload of A Week at the Plot if you watch on YouTube. Hope you're well. See you very soon. Bye.